Football is team sport, and where your success depends on the other guys doing their job. So, we've been fortunate that we had a lot of great players this year.
What do you think, looking back now at the 50-plus years, what do you think sustained you through that? Because anything you do in life, there's highs and there's lows, and what do you think kept you moving forward each and every year?
It's easy for me because it's always been the next day, regardless of what happened, just move on to the next day and try to see what you can accomplish that particular day. So there's not any one thing. It's just, go one day at a time. Next thing you know, hey, it's 52 years later. So it goes by in a hurry.
Yes, sir. So if you were giving advice to a young coach, you'd tell them to have kind of a kicker mentality. Forget about the last one, just move on to the next one.
Yeah, that's exactly what you've got to do, and it's, I've always preached we and not me. Head coaches get a lot of credit, for their success, but it takes a lot of people to have a successful football program, and I've just been real fortunate to be surrounded myself with great coaches, and I've been fortunate to have great administrators that have always supported, and that's really crucial right there, to get the backing to help you get the things you need for your program, and the boosters have been so important to our program.
Why do you think Polk County is so good at football? Do you think it's the coaching, and obviously you got to have players too? But
I think, I think it's obviously the athletes for sure. Polk County's just been rich in really good football players throughout the years, and and there's a lot of very good coaches in Polk County.
What are you going to miss most now that you're settling into retirement, not going to be roaming the sidelines anymore? What are you going to miss the most?
I've always I love practice. Just going out, especially spring football. Has always kind of been my favorite because you're starting over and getting your team ready for the next season, and it's always fun. And there's not a lot of pressure in the spring or anything like that that demands. Obviously, I think one of the things I won't miss is maybe the stress that you put on yourself to maintain the success that you've had over a period of time. And,
sure.
It's not easy to do, but, there's a lot of things I'll miss about it. I'll miss the players and the coaches. We've had a lot of great coaching staffs that we've had so much fun, and, I'll miss all that, but it's my next chapter now.
Yeah. When did you decide that this season was going to be your last?
I waited, as I have done for probably the last 5 years, till after Christmas, and make sure that, I make the right decision, and I think I did. It's just time. And my wife, we've been married 42 years. She's been so supportive and made a lot of sacrifices for me to do what I love doing, and it's time I paid her back. So, it's just time.
Thinking, how can we stay ahead of everybody? Because it's tough. Like, the county's tough. Winter Haven's good, Auburn is good. Victory's got a chance to make a Final Four next year. And so people say, well, why do you still coach? You've done everything that a high school coach can do. Well, number one, this is where the Lord placed me. That's number one. And number two, I get excited about competing still to reinvent myself, or how we can do it again with a different set of kids in a different environment against different competition. George Jenkins just got a new high school coach, Kenny Davis. Well, I coached him with the Lakeland Fire. And so he's reinvigorated Jenkins. That's my neighbor to the east, to the west of us. And now Lake Region's got a coach to the east of us. So he's in this second year. They won 19, 20 games last year, Coach Simmons. And so now we've got them on the schedule, and they're back. And so I'm excited about those challenges and how we can keep Bartow ahead of the curve. It kind of keeps me young, along with working with the kids. And so it's still an exciting time for basketball in Polk County. There's so many travel ball teams now where kids are playing. And then the youth programs are still, the recreation, the elementary school programs, what we call, where kids are playing. So like the guy from that was the soccer guy, it's still a unique time in Polk County. Sports still matter in the upbringing of young people for all the things that he said, the character building, the building of family, how to build young men and women. And so I'm excited. I'm still excited in my 22nd year to be a part of it.
What's your biggest takeaway over a 20-plus year career? Is it the titles? Is it the championships? Is it What is it?
What a rich life that I've had to be able. Everybody talks about the impact you have on kids as a coach and a teacher, but they've got an impact on you too now. And for them now to see them as young adults or old adults, for the guys that I was coaching back in 1997, they're some of them are pushing 40 to the older adults. So
Yeah,
to
watch
see
yourself.
them,
Watch yourself.
older adults. I saw you give me the crows. I'm like, oh. And to see them be members of the community with families and running businesses and in their professions, and now they're the next, raising the next generation of community folks. And I've got guys who I coach who now they're bringing their sons to me to coach. But that gives me so much joy. And when I talk to Chris and all those guys that are going to be there on the first team I coached, Chris Richards going in the Hall of Fame, and all those guys are coming, it's like 8 of them are coming with their wives and some of them, and I'm like, that. So joy is a unique thing. It comes from the inside. Sometimes happiness comes from outside, and I don't want to start preaching. You know, my granddad was a preacher. But I don't know how you quantify it other than to be overjoyous, to be proud, to see and witness that. And so I think the biggest thing about it is I've reflected on that. I've reflected on the impact it's had on my family, the positive impact of what my dad would think, and what my granddad would think, and my grandparents would think. What my mom and my sister and then my wife, she's like, it's almost when we go someplace, she says, well, should I count how many people are going to know you? I mean, like we go to Brandon, we're eating in a restaurant in Brandon, and it's Coach McGriff, and he coached me with the Fire, or it's somebody who's affiliated with basketball in some kind of way because I'm on a lot of state committees to help promote the game. And so it's led to a rich life, and I hope it continues. I hope the championships continue, but it's a way to say, for him to say, well, job well done. Now keep going. Now, he's got some more stuff in store, but it was very gratifying.
The uptick in beach volleyball in general definitely came from those like 4 Olympic cycles in a row, where we had that gold medal for the United States with Misty May Traynor and Carrie Walsh Jennings. And ever since then, it's just kind of kept steady. The women's programs are growing all across the country. It was the fastest sport to go from an emerging women's sport to a full varsity sport. And we're hoping to find that same momentum on the men's side. It's that same thing where we have a few good Olympic cycles in a row and the boys find that inspiration, and our USA Volleyball, develops the programs, the pipelines for the boys to get national training and get coaching by the best coaches in the country that have been playing professional and coaching college forever. And so they get all these opportunities to come up and to really develop from a young age into our national teams. And college is another step in that pipeline and making sure they have the resources they need from juniors all the way through the Olympic pipeline. There's so many different factors that make beach volleyball more difficult. We have the wind, we have the sun, we have the sand, and then it's also the 2 versus 6 people. So they have to be in better shape. How they jump and how often they jump and the strategies they use to make sure they get through the whole game is definitely different from beach to indoor. And then their communication, like you brought up communication, is that it's just as important for 2 people as it is for 6, because they have to make sure that their responsibility of like what part of their court they're covering and they're taking charge of is covered, and then coordinate the next contact with their partner. So from the pass, the set to the hit, like it all has to be communicated.
I couldn't believe this when I saw it. The 85th year of this event.
Yes.
And is it true you were 10 years old when you started this?
No.
I'm just kidding. That's the first one, Gene. That's the first one.
No, I had to work on that for a minute, but
No, this actually was started by your father,
my
correct?
dad started it actually 89 years ago. Okay. He had to cancel 2 years during World War II, and then I had to cancel it 2 years because of the fact that they were dredging the lake, and we ran out of water, which is kind of a
might be important for
necessity.
A boat race.
It's one of those things we need. So this is the 85th running, and over the years we have put together just a wonderful team, including sports marketing. And it's just a pleasure every year to do it, and it's Josh right here has taken a lot of pressure off of me, I can tell you that. So I think when he first came on, I told him, I said, all I want to do is be able to walk out on the dock and look important. And you do all the work. So that so far is working. I don't know how much longer it'll last.
What do you foresee the evolution of the Orange Cup?
Well, it's kind of gone through a lot of transitions over the years. When my father first started it, it was outboards on Saturday and inboards on Sunday, and then it continued over the years to progress to what we refer to are the kneel-down boats, which are the smaller boats, very entertaining and very fast, but it really didn't bring a lot of notoriety to Polk County and to the area. So as we went along, we started transitioning into what we call the tunnel boats, which are the OPCs. This year, that particular class we're running is a Formula 200, and they are very, very fast. They are a capsule boat. And so we brought those on, and then as that time went on, we said, you know, let's start looking at the inboards again. So now we are probably the largest inboard hydroplane race in the Southeast, and the Orange Cup has made a tremendous amount of worldwide recognition to the area. So we will be bringing boats in. Last year we brought them in as far away as Seattle, and of course Canada and the United States. So we're expecting a large crowd, and particularly because of the Eastern Divisionals that you just mentioned, that'll be the championship race. Yeah.
I went to Eastern Kentucky University. I was there from 92 through 96. From there I went and played in the NFL, played with the Philadelphia Eagles, 96, 97. I went to NFL Europe, played with the Ryan Fire under Galen Hall, where we won a World Bowl in 1998. From there, I transitioned back to the NFL, and that's when I played with the Carolina Panthers from 99 to 01. Also spent time in camp with the Oakland Raiders. From there, I transitioned to the XFL, where I played here in Orlando for the Orlando Raids under Galen Hall again. Short-lived. And from there, I transitioned to the Arena League, where I played for the Dallas Cowboys organization, Jerry Jones, Dallas Desperados, for 4 seasons, and I played with Arthur Blank under the Atlanta Falcons helmet as well for 2 seasons. So that was my playing career, and in the midst of that, I started coaching at my local high school, where I was from, at LaGrange High School. I also interned with the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans as well, before I came to Warner on last year.
So you come with quite a bag of tricks as far as, I mean, you've had some great coaches and some great organizations that you've picked stuff up along the way.
Yes, great role models, great men first, and that's what I really took from it. You know, being a player, you're gonna learn the game at the highest level, you know, if you're playing in the NFL. So that's just a small part of it, but the things that surrounds the game is you have to be a man, and you have to be a leader and mentor and all of that. So I picked up a lot of great things from a lot of great men.
Warner holds not only its coaches, professors, and its students to a higher level. Mm-hmm. How have you adapted to those expectations coming out of Warner? I'm used to it because playing at the highest level, of course, you have to be on your game 24/7, mm-hmm. Especially how I entered the game. I was a non-drafted, what they call a street free agent, where they just call you up and ask you to come and work out. So mm-hmm. I didn't have a lot invested in me until mm-hmm. I got to camp and was able to show the coaches and the GMs and the front office what I could do. And so understanding how to be a professional, you know, every day, all day, like you say, it becomes a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I bring to these guys. You know, I tell them, hey, it's business. This is business. You know, we're getting paid to play this game. You know, they think scholarship, I think salary.
So that's how I put it, you know, because my job is to integrate them into the real world after these 4 to 5 years. So I want to prep them by, hey, scholarship, you're kind of comfortable. Salary, no, you know that you're on your job. This is a job. And so they understand on the field, it's all about business, but off the field, that's where we're gonna love each other. We're a family, academics, community service. I want to entail the whole deal in this program.
I was fortunate enough to win Talent Winner last night for Group B, and I've been dancing my whole life, but as a 24-year-old, I don't dance as much as I used to as an 18-year-old, so every time I get to perform, it's a privilege. I danced to the song Rescue by Lauren Daigle, and I actually heard that song last year, and I started crying when I listened to it, and it really brought me back to a time in my life where I was at a really dark point, and the only thing that really got me out of that was the love for my family and my relationship with God. And I kind of channel that every time I dance, and it's just a really amazing experience to be able to express myself like that, even as an adult.
That's awesome, and congratulations again on the win. Thank you. So hopefully, what's next for you is being crowned Miss Florida. But past that, what is the goal? What's next for you? School, everything else?
Well, I am an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur, I realize the things that I don't know within my business. So I want to go back and get my MBA, maybe from the University of Florida, or maybe Ivy League outside of Florida, hopefully, depending on those scores. But I'd really just love to expand on my entrepreneurship as well as my nonprofit. I've built incredible partnerships with Donate Life Florida, Donate Life America, and I actually was just offered a job with More Transplants, More Life, which is a nonprofit out of Tampa that focuses on legislation for transplants.
Wow, amazing. Another great example of the talent here at Miss Florida 2023.
Totally different game. You know, and like I said, last year we were blessed. We had 24 kids going to the next level off of a football team, which is amazing. And that's probably the thing I'm most proud of right now with our group of kids and our coaching staff. We had this gauntlet of a schedule the first month, and no one talks about how we lost 31 seniors. No one even has mentioned that, and 24 of them have gone on to the next level, and we're out there fighting New Orleans, who's a top 25 team nationally, fighting with St. Joseph Prep, who's a top 10 team nationally. So I'm really proud of those kids, but the foundation was set with last year's group as far as, you know, our guys see that it's possible to go to the next level. It might be a different path for you, but it is possible.
So it's got to be wild being we spoke a little bit off camera that it's got to be wild being a high school football coach and being interviewed twice now by Sports Illustrated.
Right. That was a blessing, man. Everything that comes with this thing is a blessing. Like I said, I'm thankful that Coach Castle and I sat down in June, because it kind of allowed me to be maybe 6 months ahead of the process. I knew what was going on. I knew that he was going to, you know, probably call it quits if we finished the season. I knew what, you know, so when Sports Illustrated came, you're not ready for that. You know, that's one of the things you're not ready for. And they called the first time because they wanted to do an article on our kids. We had so many kids that were going to the next level, and then they had me in the numbers, and they called me again, and they said, hey man, this time we want to talk about you. So I was baffled, blushing, and you know, it was exciting and just a humbling experience. Yeah.
Did you have the same reaction when we called about you being on
Yeah,
here?
of course. I couldn't believe it. I'm telling you guys, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they're about to have me on. I'll be there. So yeah, it's a great moment, guys. You don't even understand. We appreciate what you guys do for the community and everything, and you know, we're gonna try our best to continue to be that flagship.
Look, I really appreciate y'all having me on the show today. I mean, it has been over a quarter of a century. And I started I had 9 years in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've got now, this is my 17th season in Florida, specifically in Polk County. And you'd be amazed at the people that I've encountered, the good, the bad, and the ugly side of it. But I tell you, I wouldn't change it for the world, guys. You know, it has been, some of my friends have passed that I started officiating with. And it's just, there comes a point in time where I'm ready to step back and say, you know, I've done enough. It's not what it used to be. You alluded to, sometimes the players' attitudes seem to have changed, the coaches' attitudes change, the fans' attitudes change, the parents' attitudes change. It is a different dynamic now. But I'll tell you, but everything at the high school sports level revolves around officiating. And in all sports, I'll tell you, across the state of Florida, and it's a national issue, not just a local or state issue, the number of officials is waning. There's not many people wanting to get into high school officiating. And this is my 26th season. And I've been blessed with the games I've worked. I've worked state championship in football, state championships in basketball, and I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, I started as a young official in North Carolina. I had senior mentors that helped show me the way. And I would just say that I make mistakes every Friday night. There's a small piece of my game that I make a mistake on, but the only people who really know about it are me and the other crew members. A small issue. We don't make big mistakes because I'm a senior enough person to not make big mistakes. But I would just say that you mature as a sports official. Florida works as a team concept. It's the same crew that goes out every week. They don't break us up. And I've gotten to know the people that I work with, and I've been blessed to have some people on my crew that have taught me well, and I've mentored to the newer ones in our organization. I wouldn't change a thing. It has been a part of my life, and I've been blessed that I've had a lot of support from the local official, the elected leaders in Polk County. My wife has been extremely supportive, especially that night I broke my leg, and she had to help me through rehab for 6 months. I mean, it was amazing. But everybody has been supportive, and I've given back what they have given to me.